Hey everybody, Dr. Dana Martin here, the Systemania Podcast, and welcome to episode 11. We are going to have a fantastic show for several reasons. The first reason, the guests, of course, and we'll get to them in a moment. But the second reason, Darth Malak. I mean, if you've played a game in the Old Republic, you know who Malak is. If you follow any of the old lore, specifically dealing with Revel, you're going to know who Malak is. So that's what we're going to be talking about later. So let me introduce our two guests. These are two fresh faces to our show. Thank you for joining. First, Andy Wynn. Met him through theater. He's a wonderful actor and fun to be around when we're not getting in trouble. Matthew Wynn. Yes, I'm going to go ahead and spoil it. They're related. But man, two peas in a pod. Great to have you on the show. I can't wait to dive into y'all's past and Star Wars and business stuff later on the show. So welcome.
Glad to be here.
Hello.
What is it that you guys did last weekend?
Last weekend? Oh goodness.
I was only like 2 days ago. For the weekend that just passed.
What did we do, Matthew? We watched a lot of football.
True. I was at a region concert for choir.
Mm-hmm.
And we watched Braveheart on Sunday.
We watched Braveheart.
Good one.
Yeah. I think
First
that
time
sums
for
it up.
Matthew.
It was a great movie.
Very cool.
Groundbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, that was your first time seeing Braveheart?
That was my first time seeing Braveheart. It was amazing.
I feel as a father.
Andy.
I know. Not for lack of trying, trust me.
Right? No, it takes peer pressure, not father pressure.
It really does. It really does.
My dad named his top 5 films, and I said, I've seen 2 of those.
Oh, yeah? What were those top 5?
Yeah, you tell them.
I don't remember. I haven't seen them.
Well, I'm sort of boring, but Godfather Part 2 is number 1, of course.
Yeah.
Braveheart's right up there. I don't even remember what I named. They're different 5 every day.
You said A New Hope.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah, you got to go with the classic for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, we have on our fridge where we have our lists, right, of groceries, Costco, Total Wine. We also have a list of movies that Zane has not seen that Dad must have him watch, and it just keeps growing faster than we can mark them off. But it's everything from Fight. Oh, no, I saw Fight Club without you. But I wanted to see it with you. Okay, fine. And then move along. So, but yeah. Well, that's cool. Choir concert. So that's something you are heavily into, yes?
Yes, I'm very heavily involved in my school's choir and other such activities. I do a cappella singing and other stuff like that.
What was the last show I was in with you? Was that Descendants?
I think Descendants was the last show we were in together.
That was a year ago. Like this week.
That's
like a year
crazy.
Ago.
I felt like it was so little ago.
So little?
That was my first show.
I can't.
Yeah.
That was your first show.
That was my first show.
It was.
So the villains. If you have, I don't want to give it away, but he was one of the villains, and it was fantastic. The villain parents, kind of send the villain kids, and then to Eridon, and go to high school with all the Prince Charming kids and all that. It's something like, I only had a tiny part. I just came out and went and get mad, and I left. So whatever. It was great. I saw the first one on the Disney Channel. It was fun. The Dark Side Mouse. So let's jump into some stuff. So we're gonna kind of talk a little bit about news. Disney was supposed to release Ahsoka on Wednesdays, and they moved it to overlap my show on purpose, I think, because I was potentially gonna, take some. No, the question is, have y'all been watching Ahsoka, and if so, how far?
I have not seen any episodes yet. I was planning, so the way I watch my Star Wars shows, I binge every single episode as fast as possible, but I do that once they've all come out, so I can just try and get as much of the experience as possible. That's what I did with The Mandalorian, Obi-Wan, etc. So I'm waiting.
How do you avoid all the spoilers?
It's really difficult, especially with how much Star Wars stuff I do on the weekly basis.
Yeah.
But I've held out, and so how many episodes are planned? 8?
Yeah, we've got 2 more tonight and one more.
Well, then I will be doing my big binge next Thursday, I guess.
Yep, and make sure you've binged. No, because we won't have watched it before on the Revan. Wait, 1, 2. Yeah, Revan. We would have already. It would have already been over.
Mm-hmm.
So we.
I will be up to date on my Ahsoka knowledge by then.
Awesome.
He's taking me through the Clone Wars, by the way, because I've never seen it. So he's guiding me through those as we speak.
You know,
I finally got him to watch it.
No, yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong. For us, older generation, it was super slow and hard to get into. But something happened in like season 2.5, right in the end, almost 3, where, oh my god, and just and I loved it. I loved every bit of it. How far have y'all gotten along?
Matthew's got this order that he's been taking me through. We're not going chronologically, so we're jumping all around.
Or we're going chronologically. We're not going to episode of the show,
right?
So I have an essentials list because I'm not about to make him watch all 100 some odd episodes because we don't have time for that. But we're watching him all the essentials in chronological order, and we've just started to breach into the season 3, season 4 area. Occasionally, we'll watch an episode in season 4 and go back to season 1, episode 22, something like that. But we're just starting to breach the season 4 area, and I always tell him season 5 is when it gets real.
100%. I was hooked, man, and I did what you did. I started watching it, and then I just couldn't get into it, and I ended up going through. I think Disney had you should watch them, here's this type of order, whatever. And I started and I was like, wait a minute, what? And yeah, then it was binge city for like a month. I get through like however 70 episodes. But man, what a great series. And I still feel the same that Filoni with Rebels did the same thing. Really a lot of character build, super slow, and Chopper. Oh God, I hated Chopper.
Really?
And now it's like, oh, it's freaking amazing. Yeah.
Chopper, Galaxy Destroyer. Oh,
man. Well, he's won me over. I put up a fight for a long time, but he's won me over. I'm enjoying it.
Yep. I finally got him on the bench.
So one of the things we have to speak about, and you don't have to read my article, is Baylan Skoll. And I'm sure you kind of know who he is if you see anything. One of the antagonists, one of the villains, if you will. I don't like using the word villain. Now, Jafar, definitely a villain. Andy. But one of the things about Baylan that is interesting to me, I had jumped in the heat of trying to look for some comments from our readers and whatnot, and something that was key, I think, is Baylan he's dark side, but he's not a Sith that we know, and we know that Ahsoka is not a Jedi. So if forces balance continually, then doesn't it make sense that the 2 most powerful force wielders walk a line just barely on one side or the other? What are your thoughts on that? That's going to you, Matthew.
Yeah. Wait, can you repeat that last bit?
Yeah, just that how the force maintains balance, and you have two characters just barely on one side or the other of light and dark.
I think that tether, based off what I know, because that makes me immediately think of the daughter and the son from the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And how there was like that very, very, very fragile balance between the 2 of them. And with my limited knowledge about Skoll, his name is?
Baylan Skoll.
With my knowledge that I don't have too much about him yet, I'm assuming it's going to probably tie somewhere to that, especially based off the fact that Ahsoka quite literally did get, I don't know if the correct word is blessed, but she definitely got help from the daughter. And so we might be seeing some sort of connection to that series. We might see some sort of connection or similarity in that storytelling.
I love that you brought that up. I had forgotten completely about that.
The father and the son and the daughter are super, super interesting to me. And I forget what the mother's name is because she has a name, but she's like this creature in the dark. So who knows? Maybe that might even be mentioned.
Sorry, I pushed a button. No, yeah, we're aligned, and I had forgotten about the siblings, and one of the I just loved how everything that happened with them was environmental too, like whatever.
100%. It feels like it's natural.
Yeah, and I got the sense there's a scene, I don't want to spoil it too much, but at the henge on Certos, when Ahsoka and Baylan kind of face off, there is this real deliberate, I'm doing this and you're doing this, and it's impacting everything as we're moving. Like, it's just really intense and immense that what's happening in those moments is not just those two people. It's much greater.
It's everything. So that's why in my mind it might draw some sort of connection to that original 3 some odd episodes of the Clone Wars.
Man, that was good. That was a good call out. Man, I don't know. Has he? We're talking about Andy as if he's not here. Andy, have you seen these episodes that we were talking about there?
No, I don't think so.
Cool.
Soon though. Soon.
We're
approaching season. I think those episodes are in season somewhere in between 4 and 6.
6, yeah. I think like early 6 maybe, or mid 6. That seems right.
They're very important episodes, and we will be watching those. And the entire time we're watching it, I will be deliberately explaining each second and frame.
Do you do that already?
That's how we watch the Clone Wars. Which it's a 10 seconds of show, 5 seconds of Matthew. 10 seconds of show, 5 seconds of Matthew.
And every now and then it's hey, Dad, are you awake? Pay attention to this one.
Good. No, put your phone down. Like, this is important.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No more iPad.
That's awesome.
Exactly right.
Well, thank you guys. We're gonna jump forward a little bit. We've got kind of a partner of the show, Ripped Apparel. If you look in our description, there is a link to take you to. I'm gonna actually see. I'm gonna share.
Do it.
Oh, it's working.
Oh. Okay, so you click the link at the bottom, and it'll take you right here, and you see these wonderful shirts. There's about 12 shirts here. List for $25. You put in the code CHOICE, CHOICE, and you get these for $18. You got Cobra Commander, One Punch Dad. Oh, just in time for Halloween. You got Sally, and of course, everyone needs a Kanye shirt.
I need that.
Anything else?
I love the stream shirt.
I know, right? No, we do thank our partners over there at Ripped. This is really cool. And these, that's a Beetlejuice, but it's Dr. Seuss. Oh yeah, that's pretty slick. All right, that's what you're getting, Andy. That one right there for Christmas.
Ghost with the most. I like it.
Awesome.
I'll be looking into that.
So yeah, just hit the link at the bottom, and you'll get brought to that. And when you check out, use code CHOICE, and those shirts are $18 a pop. All right, so let's move on to our deep dive. Let's start talking about Malak. So, I say growing up, like when I started playing Old Republic, I was already grown. But I think as that part in my life where I was a leader already. I was supervising a small team. And one of the things that always intrigued me about Palpatine, if you've watched any of the shows, is just the whole Sith architect thing, right? There are lessons there about influence, not manipulation, influence over people where they allow you that influence. And it's a very special thing when that can happen. He was able to do that in over and above any manipulation that may have happened. And when I look at Malak and I think about things that I could take from him, from his life, in the beginning, middle, and end. There really is a lot of meat and texture to his life that I think we don't get to talk about because he was just a small, tiny part of Revan's story in a way.
True. Yeah.
So, for those that don't know, I'm just going to give you a couple of highlight points. I wish I could post them. Actually, I probably could. No, I'm not going to. I'm going to break it if I do. So, Malak was not always Darth Malak, right? He started out as a Jedi named Alek. What? I know, right? He was a Jedi Knight, and he joined Revan's tirade or crusade against the Mandalorians. It was the battles were terrible, and there were bad things that happened. There were the Malachor, or I mean, not Malachor, Telios 4 that was just annihilated. I mean, just like nothing. And then so what? What then? Well, we just like every other Sith Lord and apprentice and whatnot. Revan on the dark side, Malak's right there. What does Malak try to do? Tries to overthrow him. This is just the nature of of secession in the Sith world, right? But remember, they were working together for a long time. They were very close friends. They grew up as Jedi. In the end, there is redemption arc, of course. This is Star Wars, and Malak dies, I think, believing he screwed up.
Yeah, Malak fully recognizes his flaws, and he makes peace with the Force as Revan kills him.
And I think that it's important of course, at a high level for all of us, continuing the arc of redemption with. I mean, if you just watch a TikTok of mine, I'm always talking about getting the sand off of you, and there's always a way to come out clean on the other side. And I think Malak is a good example of that. Now, do we excuse the atrocities? Probably not. No excuse for killing children, Anakin. But again, what was he doing? He was trying to stamp out in the name of an ideal. And I think our fanaticism that we see a lot of times is the attempt to stamp out an ideal. And we see that all the time. We see that all the time in Star Wars. I mean, I know you could tell me another one, probably Matthew. What's another example of that? We've got, the whole Revan period, right, with Malachor and all
that whole Revan period. Another example you could look at is in the Star Wars, the Old Republic era with that video game. You can see constant eras of that the Empire, when they were a true military force, and the Republic and the true military force, they were constantly battling, and in those battles, destroying planet after planet after planet, just with zero consequence.
Yeah.
Or thought behind it. But the whole reason why they were warring at each other was to stamp out the other side, because they truly believed that their society was the key to success and prosperity.
So this is where we get to tap your mind. So, Andy, so looking at this from a business perspective, as a business owner, as a general manager, as anyone who kind of leads people or project, when you you're going to be driving towards a goal based on an ideal or vision for your company. Am I wrong? So how do you deal with that when you're faced with those things that are in conflict with where you're trying to go with your business as blockers?
That's a good question. It's a good point. I mean, what y'all are talking about is collateral damage, and the collateral damage is okay if you're trying to get where you're going. I think that in business, the impetus or the goal for some people might kind of take that direction. They might have that impulse. I think that's something you have to really push back against. The longer I've been in business, the more I think that the results are not less important, but not more important than the means of getting there. And that kind of interesting that you started off with the talk about walking that line, on the good and bad side, because that kind of
Mhm.
plays in the same sandbox, as it were. I think everybody that's in a leadership role has to really fight those impulses with themselves to figure out where is that line, and am I trying to get a result, or am I trying to make an example?
Mm,
And I think sometimes those are very different things.
quite. That's great. You were mentioning the collateral, and something that I've said, I think, on the show, but I learned a long time ago is it really is no such thing as it's just business. It's not personal, because every
Right.
business decision impacts a person at least. So, if you
Yes.
don't take into consideration your people, your group, your clan around
Mm-hmm.
you, um, then yeah, there's going to be collateral. And what does that do to your rapport and your what's the word? Not validity. Shoot. It's starts with a C. I don't know. I had a concussion. I can't think of the word. But it's credibility. Oh my God,
Credibility. Yeah.
credibility. It hurts your credibility.
There's
Because
nothing.
you're going to go where you need to go, but
Yeah.
are you going to be left behind in the wake, right?
There's nothing harder to gain and quicker to lose than credibility.
Yeah.
And that's one of those. That's why I say that the longer I'm in business, the more I think that the end does not justify the means,
Mm.
and that so much of what the end of the day brings is, why are we doing all this? Everything that we do in our life, whether it's business or friendships or whatever else, it's to make our lives more enjoyable. It's to make our lives doable. And really, I feel like business is no different. We're not there typically to do the thing that we love the most.
Mhm.
And so it's important to always keep in mind, I think, that collateral damage is not worth almost any pain to me. I know other business leaders and business owners that have very different thoughts than that. And
Mhm.
they'll take out those extra planets and those
Mhm.
and all those Mandalorians, as long as they get what they feel like is the right thing at the end. And I just feel like that's not the right way to do it.
Sure. And I think it's a hard lesson, especially now and where we're at. A lot of remote work, more outsourcing out of the
Mm-hmm.
U.S.
Yeah.
Now than ever before.
Yeah.
There is collateral that happens with this, and those are still people. Myself, anyone who knows me knows I just went through this, and it was very difficult.
Mm.
So what do you do, right? So something is beyond your control. Talk about that a lot. Only worry about what you could control. So,
Yeah.
in the event that there is something that occurs um, outside of your control, and in the case of Malak, I like to think of what was out of his control was his downward spiraling thought process on, I need to do more, and I need to get this, and I need to get that. Kind of absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Oh,
Um,
100%.
yeah, go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, no, because he had so many influences on him from the beginning into the end. With Revan being his not only his friend, but also, especially in his dark side journey, but even in his light side, being almost a master figure.
Yeah.
And quite literally, so later, that influence of Revan was so ambitious, and Revan was constantly making that push. Honestly, just not only for the protection of the galaxy, but flat, like, just to disobey the council and defiance. That's the word I'm thinking of. And so with Malak's probably number one influence in his life, the thing that's absolutely just driving him, when he sees this raw ambition, he has to match that.
Yeah.
He can't just sit on the sideline. He needs to match it. And so that backwards cycling just keeps going through them until it spiraled downwards into, excuse me, until them thinking they could take on Darth Vitiate himself.
Yeah.
And
That wasn't.
yeah, it was not smart because that led them mind control.
But I 100%, man.
Yeah.
Malak saw that. So when we are in front of charismatic people, it is difficult not to be kind of swept up and caught up. And that's one of the reasons I think for me, again, the Emperor Palpatine, Vader, they're very, I was charismatic, but they were very impressive in display. And I believe Malik's the dude that I'm going to get everything I can, but I'm also going to show you this is how we're going to do it. And I'm just, let's go. I mean, the guy's missing half his jaw.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Just 100% all the time. And if you're not going to do it, I'm going to do it myself. And not like, come on, guys. Like, either you follow me or don't. I'm going. And that in and of itself, to me, those types of leaders, one, don't leave me behind, man. Be careful. But two, at least have that maybe motivation and drive that others can see that, yeah, I'm in the beginning. I'm right here with you, man. Hold my hand. We'll do it together. Walk together. I don't know that a lot of Sith Lords were in, like Revan, when he would kind of go on the back, whatever. It was more, I'm just badass. I'm just gonna
yeah, 100%.
Alek was purposeful when leading, from my perception, and so being purposeful in your leading in your business, you still have to make sure you're not leaving folks behind while you're leading the charge. And I mean, do you have any experiences like that you could share, or you want to talk on that? That would be great.
I don't know about specific experiences that I could think of just off the cuff, but what you're saying is so important. I mean, the most effective leaders are not ones that are good at telling people things. It's the ones that, like you said, they take ownership. They lead by example. The most I've ever learned from anybody is watching people that I look up to and emulating. Emulating is where most people, I think, grow the most, whether it's in their personal life or in their professional life. I think it's all the same. Their talk only goes so far. It's parenting. I mean, I try not to be a jerk because I don't want Matthew to be a jerk. But it's the same in business. I mean, it's absolutely that way. If somebody that leads by complete fear, like I'm sure some of the Sith Lords did, that's not going to have the endearment of the followers. And if the followers of whoever are only doing what they're told to do because they're scared of the consequences of not doing that, first of all, it's not going to be a long-term thing. And second of all, it's not going to be a productive thing. You get the most results all the time, 1,000% of the time, when the people below you are invested and they believe in you, they believe in the vision, and they want the same outcome that you do. That's the only way for real success. And so I'm sure that there's examples of that in the Star Wars world as well.
Yeah, and you make a good point that investment goes both ways, right? I mean, those employees or people in your place, peer leadership is huge too. I mean, people are gonna follow if you can build that rapport, and if you're showing the investment. And there are plenty of examples of Sith Lords, Traya being a huge one, of investing in her people, and she was able to satiate Nihilus's hunger for a while, so these are certainly great lessons from a business and Star Wars perspective. And I think getting on that and moving to kind of a next point, the ability to have your sphere of people, but also have the flexibility to have other influences. So I think this is the best decision and this is what we're going to do. I don't need a bunch of yes men, women around me. I need someone to challenge. Don't challenge me every dang time I open my mouth, but keep me honest.
Yes.
And I know that when we look at some Sith Lords, I think Maul is a good example of always being kept honest. He never had a chance. He was always going to be a failure. That was just his character. But you know what I'm saying. So I don't want to get too tongue-tied here. Matt, you looks like you're about ready to jump on that. No? Okay.
Oh, no, yeah. No, I was just going to say 100% with Darth Maul because, like you said, he never really had that opportunity because he was always under the control of the Emperor of Palpatine. And when he wasn't under Emperor Palpatine, he was under the Night Mother. And when he wasn't under the Night Mother, he was being controlled by his brother.
Yep.
And it just never worked out for him.
Yeah. And so as a leader today, things have changed. And I think, Andy, you've had the benefit I have that there have been a lot of changes in the office space as a whole, to the point that the movie Office Space at the time was like, hey, that's just how it is. And now you're like, oh my God, that's a HR nightmare. But the same thing is happening as what was in Office Space as happens now. And
let's put that in the top 5, by the way.
Oh yeah, Office Space. Have you seen Office Space, Matthew? No,
I haven't.
Oh my God,
I haven't.
So
I'm failing.
But in that case, you had software companies, whatever, looking through code, etc. And those are, I like to think of kind of that. What's the word? Investing in people, but also being able to shift and be flexible. I think one of Malek's faults was he was too much with the blinders, right? Like, this is what I have to do. And he was consumed by it. He had no ability to see outside of that. So he didn't have the people there to keep him honest. I got to brush up on Bastila. That's who we're talking about next week. Fallen Bastila. How did that happen? But you have these people, these Sith Lords that they do invest in others and then lose sight of what they were doing because they are so dang focused on the goal, and they leave those people behind, and then they leave. Wait a minute. One of the examples I brought up was Kodak, right? We're going to do film. Hey, I got this idea for digital photos. We're a film company, dummy. And fine, I'll take my stuff to Sony. I think he took it to. He's done for the rest of his life. Kodak was not flexible. Kodak lost big in the digital market. They weren't prepared. And when I think about old Malak, I think he got tied up and could not see the forest through the trees, so to speak. Thank you, Shield Maiden. Yes, lead by example. And you can't say that Malak did not do that. If he wanted someone's head, he would just go take it.
True. The only person who
I think in especially in the business world, like being able to pivot when necessary. I believe you are still open even after COVID and everyone and whatever happened with that. But that was, I'm sure, a challenge, Andy. Like, how were you able to flex and pivot and keep your business alive and your vision alive?
I think you're dead on. I mean, if you're not flexible, if you're not willing to change almost daily, then you're going to be a dinosaur before you know it. Kodak's such a great example. My business is actually in a massive state of flux right now. In 28 years of doing what I do, it's never been what it is right now. And it'd be very easy to just go in every day and have a very bad attitude about it. And some days I do. But it's also one of those situations where you know that there's going to be some people that adapt and some people that don't. And the people that adapt will be still viable on the other side. That's a tough thing to do. It's a very easy thing to get in your lane and feel like you have to stay there. Back to what you were saying with, Malak being inflexible and blinders on. The world doesn't stay in stasis.
No.
And if you do, then you go away. And it's definitely that way in business, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this has been great, man. I like having I've had teacher Drama Llama Mama on. I've had another business owner, and just it's really cool to be able to make these comparisons, because I think when we watch Star Wars, we start to think about it differently, And I think with more depth, which was the goal the whole time with Lucas, was yes, I'm taking from all these storytelling tropes, and we're going to put them into one badass space opera. But there's a lot of meat to that, and I really appreciate you sharing some of your business insights. Would love to have you on again. Matthew's like, oh no, I'm on. But Andy, I'd love to have you on too.
He's an encyclopedia. I'm just here.
So no, it's great. Thank you guys. We're gonna take a step back and really kind of meet these two. So we'll start with Pops and Andy. So I'm gonna tell you, I know Andy from shows. We were in Descendants together. He was Jafar. I was King Beast. I just went on for a little while. He just went on so we were just backstage, like eating the snacks, and that was what we did. But
it's a perfect role, by the way.
Oh yeah, and wonderful family. Really involved at theater. Don't want to. Karen's wonderful too. I don't miss everybody. But what is it about? Because you've seen the New Hope. You saw Star Wars growing up. And what was it about Star Wars that for you was like, oh, this is something, even at an early age when you first started seeing it?
I'm at that age where I was pretty young when it came out, but around, and it was, there's so many different aspects to it that I think captivated everybody. But first of all, just, on the surface, it was groundbreaking in every way in filmmaking. Nothing had ever been made like that. You look back now and it's simplistic in some ways and special effects and things like that, but it still holds up. Mm-hmm. That's what's amazing about it. You can almost see the wires of the Death Star being hung from the ceiling. It doesn't matter. It's still that good because the storytelling is so good. Mm-hmm. It's the ultimate good versus evil story, and yet it's perfect in that it brought redemption in at the end with Vader. The story would have never been what it is, if Vader hadn't kind of regained himself at the end. And I think that's what really, that's what made the whole movie. it was a great action movie other than that. Mm-hmm. That made it a great movie.
Yeah.
And I think that everybody responded to that. And then, Empire Strikes Back, amazing.
That's all I got to say.
That's all I got. Yeah, it's amazing.
So, small business owner, been in business over 20 years, and right-ish, I don't know, something like that. And where do you see where do you see everything going for you over the next decade with business and retirement, whatever?
That's a good question. I am old enough that I think about these things. I don't know. I told you that our industry is in a state of flux, and so that's always on my mind. We'll see how things go, but I've always had a goal that I would like to retire young enough to enjoy being retired. Mm-hmm. And some people want to work till the day they drop, and that's just not me. So we'll see how things go. If Matthew doesn't spend all my money in college, we'll see how things go after that.
No promises.
Yeah, no promises for sure. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Andy.
Absolutely.
Matthew. Okay, the last show I was in with you was Descendants. Well. But you've been in another show since then.
Yes. Oh boy, several.
I saw it. What was it? Two, maybe.
The most recent production that I was a part of was Putting It Together.
I did not see that. Oh, that was the Sondheim. How was that?
That was the Sondheim. It was amazing. I loved it. I've been in a few others since then. I've been in oh boy, I can't remember now. I music directed the 2 kid camps this year, and I was a part of the third one. Yeah. So that was very fun. I did what's it called?
You got Dana disease.
They all run together.
I can't remember. There's so many of them. Miscast. I was in Miscast.
Yeah.
I think that's it. I can't remember if I was in any others besides that.
Very cool. So you're still in high school? Yes.
Correct. I'm a senior.
Senior, right? Okay. So senior, and you've got all this stuff. But do you have time for actual school? I'm just saying. I mean, you said
It's a good question, Dana.
You just had
That's a very good question, actually.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Yeah. You're not doing your homework. I mean, this is not taking the place of your homework, right?
Oh,
geez.
Absolutely not. I'm
He's modest. He's a very good student.
Yeah, just to get this stuff done. So for you, what was your introduction into Star Wars, and/or what made you really? I love it.
So, I started with the 3 originals because my dad showed them to me. They were great movies, but that was it.
Mm-hmm.
I watched the 3 of them. I was like, okay, that's cool. I'm done. But I was a massive TV show kid when I was younger. I watched Pokemon, I watched Yu-Gi-Oh, all of those classic cartoons. And then Clone Wars came on.
Mm.
And I hadn't seen anything like Clone Wars before. And so I made it through the first season or 2. Good show. It was just a good show, and I'd leave it at that. But the 3rd season started, and that's where my addiction kicked off.
Mm.
And I loved it. And at that point, me and my brother, we had a GameCube and a Wii.
Mm.
And so I was playing the original Lego Star Wars 3, the video game. We had pod racing.
Yep.
We had all the classics. I remember I would go to my dad's office, and I would log onto the computer, and I would play the Lego Star Wars 3, the multiplayer game, online web demo. And I would play the web demo for hours because it was the coolest thing in the world.
That's fair.
And after that, I remember one of my most fond Star Wars memories is I actually played all of Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2 on the 9-hour car ride to Arkansas.
Oh my God.
And and then I played them on the way back too on my mother's iPad. And that started it all. Ever since then, I've been hooked.
He's been messed up ever since.
I've been so messed up since then. Now it's all I talk about.
So there's another young gentleman at the theater. His name is Ryan Top, and he always wanted to be on the Diva Dads podcast. Would always ask to be on the podcast. And I was thinking, I know he knows some about Star Wars. It'd be cool to get him on the podcast, but having someone else like Matthew on before Ryan, sorry, Ryan, but I knew that might give you a little grease. So just kidding.
I was actually texting Ryan before this, and I told him, hey, I'm going to be on Dana's podcast. And he went, Dana has a podcast? He was so excited.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, we'd love to have that guy on. He cracks me up. But it's a great community, the theater. A lot of folks get opportunities to network and meet, and Steve Tinkle, someone I hope to work with more in the future with my side gig leadership stuff. Just Andy would love to work with you too. Christy Petty, we've talked about on this show. There's just a lot of people from that community. And one of the things I learned a couple weekends ago about the Comic-Con community and the cosplay community is that is a very tight-knit community as well. And sometimes you don't even know who's in that community. So, for instance, I wrote the article about the Comic-Con experience, and someone had left a comment, and I looked up that person's name, and I was like, oh my God, I know this guy. This guy was on our show, episode 3.
Really?
His name's Matt.
That's so fun.
And he was like, I'll help you with your cosplay. And I was like, who is this guy? Help me. I don't even know, No, run into him literally at Kroger. And it's like, oh my, hey, no, I will really help you with your cosplay. So even that group is very close-knit. And I'm very thankful that I was able to fall in with theater when I did, to start making some of these relationships. Because I mean, honestly, Matthew, 5 years ago, when I first met you, weren't that tall. Adam. So you went to this gray. I've gotten this gray since I've known you. So, sorry, Andy.
Now he's taller than you, and
We're in the same boat there.
I will make sure to tell my father that I am taller than him every single time it gets brought up.
Are you really?
I'm 6'2", and he's 5'11".
Oh, that's
I'm
right.
not 5'11".
And now the internet knows. I'm 6'2" now.
Equal. You're 6'2".
I've grown.
Oh my god. Oh, I was 6'1". I was. They say
6'1".
the cartilage in your knees, like
Yeah, certainly not my fault. Yeah.
On stage. No, this was really good, man. Thank you guys. Any parting shots or any shout outs? What are you guys working on? Usually this is where we'll say, oh, you've got, you're an author in a book. But no, not an author, not a book, not a music. But do you have any shows or contests coming up, Matthew?
Oh, I'm in a show called Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief at my high school.
Yes.
I'm playing Grover, which is the best friend. I'm the Ronald Weasley to the Harry Potter. So you should come see us. I think third week of January is when we're putting on our production. So might be fun to go to.
It's going to be good.
Listening, Kat, I know you were listening earlier. If you're listening, we'll get that link and she's our AV. She'll pop it in here too. So
amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Andy.
Yeah.
Are you in you're understudy?
I'm understudy for the narrator for Rocky Horror. Yeah.
Rocky Horror.
Around the production. Yeah.
That's gonna be fantastic.
I look forward to it. It's gonna be a fun cast, a real fun cast.
It is. I'm a little sad. I got too much, man. I can't. I couldn't sacrifice the time.
It's a lot.
It is
a lot.
It's a lot.
Rocky was tough too. A lot of dancing. I only had 2 costumes because I was Eddie and Dr. Scott, but it was still a lot. You're all over the stage, all over right, left, wheeling around. If you're Doctor, it was a lot. I wanted to potentially be narrator, so I'm a little jealous that you got understudy for that.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that goes. And the dancing is for real. I'm not a dancer, and I'm embarrassed to say how sore I was 4 days after
auditions. Very cool.
Yes.
So Rocky Horror at the theater company
Yes.
over the weekend right before Halloween, right? 28th, correct?
Yeah, should be. Yeah, Thursday through Saturday.
I'll be out of town,
Something like that.
so visiting my daughter
Never mind then.
for her celebration of marriage, and I am so happy.
Oh wow!
This.
Congrats.
Oh, that's amazing.
Her guy Tommy's great, man.
That's fantastic.
Real proud of him. She's going back to school. Like a lot of cool stuff, man. So stuff starting to come together. Oh, it's so awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very
but
cool.
that boy Zane, I don't know about him. He's probably watching right now. Shut up, Dad.
Well, I thought he was cool until I found out he was your son, and then
I know, right? Poor kid.
Yeah, I'm jury's out now, I guess.
Yeah, he it was really it's fun having him on because he just like you two, it's a different perspective of Star Wars. And I've said this before, like I lived through the Dark Ages. We all kind of say that in this age range because the only thing you got Star Wars was you had Dark Horse comics, and then you had the books that are now not canon, but we all read them.
All the books and comics have been ripped out. It's so sad.
Yep. It is. I
Disney
heard that
purge.
Chewbacca is dead because a moon smashed into him. Like that is but saving the life of Han and Leia's kid in the process. Like that kind of stuff. It seems ridiculous at the time, but when I see what we got, I mean, I'm not going to complain because we at least got something. No, Kylo Ren. I've had a change of heart on him. Check out the last episode.
Really?
Yeah.
You like him now?
It's not really that I like him now. I think I understand him. He's whining because the whole dang family is whining. But so I have to look past that and look deeper in the onion. And when I do, it's amazing. I don't want to spoil it because I want to drive traffic, Matthew. I'm not going to tell you. Go check out episode 10.
I have trouble watching those 3 movies. Oh, I really liked the first one. I thought it had potential, and the second one ruined it for me.
So I actually, and maybe it's just place in my life. Before the episode 10, 2 weeks ago, I watched literally after work in between the show, and I watched episode 9, and I started getting misty eyed. I was like, God
Really?
dang, like because anyway, it was, and I'm like not. I make fun of Kylo Ren in episode 1 and 2 of this show, so I have had a change of heart in like literally a month and a half.
He had a pretty rough go.
He did. He had a really rough go.
He was given a bad
Luke kind of went ballistic on him for no reason.
Yeah.
In the end, I made the point of all it takes is one. Rey believed in him, and no one else did. His father did too. His mother didn't even believe in him. So when you look at, his mother never believed in Vader either. That could still be Anakin. Just if he can sense your presence, then leave this place. Yeah, run.
Yeah.
No, Luke's like, no, I believe. And so, point of all that in the last episode is you have people around you that support you in your sphere, and all it takes is one to believe in you hard, that you would then believe in yourself. Also, the flip side. Be that for someone else. Not, oh, you're doing great, buddy. No, really believe in them because you can change them from the dark to the light, just like Luke did. It's just amazing.
And that's why mentors are such a big deal in business.
That's why what?
Yeah.
And that's why mentors are such a big deal in business.
100%.
And so important.
Get you a leadership coach. DMILM.com. Direct and meaningful influence, leadership, and management. And I'd love to be your leadership coach. Anyways, I do have an article that I just popped, I think this morning or yesterday, I don't remember, about Baylan Skoll. And a little bit touches on his apprentice. The article is basically, I wish we would have just called the series Baylan Skoll instead of Ahsoka. And
really,
why? Because, man, he's my guy. I'm definitely gonna have to cosplay. That'll be my first one.
I'm so looking forward to those episodes. Oh, goodness gracious!
Whew, you're gonna love it. Let's go on to our. I didn't, did I? You dummy. Okay, so fan art and or fan theory. We're going with the fan art because, yeah, I tend to do that more often, but for some reason, it's not opening. That's okay. We're just wasting bandwidth right now. There it is.
I do that a lot.
You what in the
I said I do that a lot. Waste bandwidth.
Let me put this image here. So this is from wallop.net.
Oh, wow.
It is just Darth Malak and Darth Revel, and it's just so why? I like to always kind of do the why does Dana choose this, right? All I want you to do is look at Malak's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
What is he looking at? What is he thinking? What is he doing? And in my mind, he's very singular. He's very focused, narrowed, and knows what he wants. And that in this picture, you actually see him a little ahead of Revel. I just don't think that's an accident, and they just happen to be walking. It is art, concept art, I think, from KOTOR, and it's just amazing.
That's amazing.
Any else thoughts now that I've ruined it for everybody?
It's pretty impressive.
I love that artwork. I love the classic Starforged armor that Revan wears. It's so symbolic.
Yes.
And I love Malak. I just love how after all of this and after all of their like tears and scars, how much hate is coursing through them. You can literally see Malak and his missing jaw after Revan having chopped it off. And despite all of that, these two are still working together in singularity because in their time as Jedi, in their time as Dark Jedi, and as they were called, and then in their time, even at the very end when Revan's about to kill Malak, they were together throughout their entire journey. And neither of them would have been able to have it without the other.
Oh, agreed.
I agree with that message in particular.
Yes, thank you, Kat. Yes, the imagery is amazing. You know, and it's not like that was, you know, super flamboyant, whatever. I think your point of like the armor and everything's very purposeful. I just want to believe that the character would have chosen that for himself, not the artist.
Yeah. Based
in the world where we've been led to believe this is Revan, that this is exactly like they've done a great job with writing Revan. Just kidding. Sorry. I love me some Star Wars and I love me some Revan. So my son, we had a Comic-Con at my office like 3 years ago, and real, you know, whatever, small. But he showed up flat out, dude. Revan,
really,
like mask, he built it all with his stepdad. Like I was like, this is amazing. Like, come on, let's go. This is gonna be fun. Won an award for whatever. But yeah, really cool. Thanks. Revan is. I can't wait to talk about him. But we're not gonna be talking about Revan for a while. Mm-hmm. Well, he'll creep into our discussions.
There's a Comic-Con soon. I think I will be dressing as an ARC Trooper.
ARC Trooper.
They're my favorite. Mm-hmm. The Null Squad.
Are you talking about AggieCon in February?
I didn't know AggieCon was happening.
AggieCon in February. We just got through the one at Brazos, whatever. The one I wrote the article about. That one was there. Yeah.
I might have to look into that, actually. Sounds fun.
So, boss man David, sorry. I keep missing these. I got to get better at this. Announcing what segment we're in. Take that note and give it back to me, Shield Maiden. I'll just put it in the chat. So this is my life. Dana, you're doing it wrong. So I want to kind of wrap up just talking kind of high level. So we talked a little bit about Baylan. Didn't go too much because I don't want to ruin it. But man, I'm telling you, don't read the article. I mean, read the article, but after, and then you'll be like, "Oh, totally."
I'll go in
everyone else out there. There's only spoilers through last week, so you're good. So you've gotten to see some TikTok stuff I'm trying to do.
Yes,
I'd love to get some feedback, good and bad. If you got some feedback.
Oh, the TikToks been great. I'll open up my app. I'll be in school maybe, or I'll be at home. And yeah.
You see that? What? Oh, that hurt.
So proud.
Busted. Oh. So yeah, I'm sorry.
No, sorry, I lost my train of thought.
So it works. Like it works. I'm not just speaking to dead air. It works, right?
Oh wait, 100% with the TikTok. I forgot. Yeah, no, I'll be sitting in my car. I just finished driving home. I'm about to go inside. I'll pull it up, and I'll see your stuff. I always like it. It's great. It's working great. Make sure to always tag as much stuff as you can. Typing in that hashtag FYP, standing for hashtag for you page. That's gonna get you a lot of views.
Does that really work?
Mm-hmm. Typing in hashtag FYP.
Got it.
That'll make sure that anybody who's looking on their For You page, there's a chance that they'll see that. So then when you include your additional Star Wars tags, then it'll be For You pages of Star Wars fans, and that narrows it down. So
I feel like if I could ask my grandparents, is this the way it sounded when I told you how to work a VCR? Like, I'm feeling very old right now.
If you ever want advice on that, I don't have a ton, but I do have a bit, just from interwebs.
No, one of the things I did initially to start the train was some grow room type things. Just get that 1,000 so I can start doing lives.
Oh yeah.
And then I use the lives and crack up content between, and push them back out. But yeah, there's some tagging and stuff. Shield Maiden, our cat, our AV department head, whatever you want to call her, badass. She's really good at directing us in that way. But I appreciate, FYP. I'd forgotten totally.
FYP is
I
amazing.
used to see that all the time when I was just flipping. Like, what's FYP? There you go.
FYP is gonna do you wonders.
Perfect. Cool.
That's what I would say.
Oh, go ahead.
That's a common saying from ye old age.
What?
FYP.
Oh, I say FYP.
I'm kidding.
And you're what? Yes, 100% Gen X TikTok. Me too. Awesome. Well, thank you all for joining. I can't even talk. Joining the show. We're definitely gonna have to get you two on again. If you're not busy next week, we are talking about Fallen Bastila. Let me know. And we'd love to have both of you on. I think this is really fun. We might even try to grab maybe Shield Maiden if she ain't doing nothing. Bring her on too. Just the more the merrier. And Revan, I might try to do like a 5 people. Just go crazy and everyone lose their mind because I just can't. I've never heard anyone like, "Oh, Revan's dumb." Like I've never heard that. And I
could talk about Revan for hours.
Amen. No, let's do it. I love it. I love Revan. I think there's a few Sith Lords that I could do months on, and one of the things, bringing up TikTok, shameless plug. I'm putting together some series. So some Sith Lords I don't really talk about a lot. Darth Vader, because he's my favorite and I could talk forever, but I'm going to package that up and put those as options on TikTok to purchase, like $1. I don't know. I just want people to, I want that content to be special because Darth Vader is so special to me. That sounded weird, but yeah, I don't care.
It is true.
Okay. Awesome. Well, we will go ahead and shut it down. Looks like we've been right at the hour. And again, thank you guys for joining. This was really enlightening, and I can't wait to try to get you guys back on. We're talking next week about Bastila. We just talked about Malak, and we talked about Baylan Skoll. We will touch on episode 8. I don't know. Whatever episode's playing now, we'll talk about next week.
Okay.
It's been a lot of fun, man.
Thank you so much for the invitation. I've had a blast.
Absolutely. And don't rub it into Brian's face too much, please.
Oh, he will.
Too much. I'll do a little bit, just for the pride's sake. But
just a little bit.
Yeah. I won't hurt his feelings too bad.
No, well,
I can a little bit.
No, he's good. I love that guy. All right, guys. Thank you so much. And everyone go to @Geek News Now Official on YouTube. We have a slew of podcasts. We've got Through the Eyes of a Child, which is a freaking awesome new show. They're going through Clone Wars, the dad and the daughter, and it's her first foray, and it's just what you guys were talking about, but flipped, like the dad is showing the kid and you get her real reaction to things. It's really, really adorable. I love it. And just a different perspective too that you don't otherwise get with our brains that come jaded and whatever. We've got Cantina Happy Hour. That was that's Thursday Cantina Happy Hour. Cam and Focus, it's another one. MCU Mondays, that was last night, and the Geek Gauntlet on Saturdays. That's everything. They go through anime, they go through games, they have segments on each of these, and it's like an hour and a half, just fun, like everything mashed together. It's really fun. Several shows. I'm waiting for Kat to put the list in the chat, but that's okay. Okay, maybe she's not watching anymore. But, and then also on TikTok, follow us on TikTok. We got content there @Geek News Now on TikTok. Follow me, the Sith Dominion, and yeah, it's a lot of stuff. Articles galore on geeknewsnow.net. Yeah, whatever you guys want. Oh, and don't forget our partner with Ripped. Check out that link in the bottom. $18 a shirt. I think I'm gonna have to get the Beetlejuice Dr. Seuss one because that's just bizarre and I love it.
That was pretty cool.
I think I might just get that Scream shirt. It was
Oh, the
calling my
Scream?
name.
Yeah, 100%. All right, folks. Thank you guys so much again. And remember, kids, peace is a lie. There's only passion. Good night.